Ah, it's always locked, but it's open. Just wait a moment before I could stop her. My daughter opened the drawer. What, Mom, is this? The daughter became visibly disturbed immediately. I looked in as well, and there was a divorce application with a handwriting letter, clearly known by its unique quirks. When I picked it up, a photo slipped out. It showed my husband, a woman, and a boy about the same age as my daughter. On the back of the photo, along with the date, it read, "With my beloved." Seeing this, I immediately understood. Mom, does this mean Dad is cheating? Let's take this opportunity to clear things up once and for all. I smiled at my daughter and gave her instructions to tidy up. That day, we submitted the divorce application to the city court. Having tidied everything up cleanly, we decided to leave our home. I am Anna. I live with my husband and our daughter, a family of 3. I met my husband, Nathan, when I was 28 years old. I was working as an office clerk, and he was in sales. We started talking through work, and we both enjoyed drinking, so we began going out for drinks more often. Growing conscious of each other, after he confessed his feelings to me, we dated for 2 years before getting married. Things were going well for us. However, even a year after our marriage, we were not blessed with children. I wonder if not having kids is because of the alcohol. I complained to my husband. We both enjoyed drinking, so we had a habit of drinking before bed every night. My husband showed a complicated expression. I wonder, but drinking during pregnancy is not good, so let's quit. Once I'll quit with you. Thank you. I'm worried because of my age, so I'll go to the hospital too. If necessary, I'll come with you. My mother keeps nagging me to show her grandchildren. My husband laughed jokingly. I laughed back, but my feelings were complicated. My mother-in-law is not a bad person, but she is very eager for grandchildren. Anna, aren't you over 30? It gets harder to get pregnant after 30, you know. I'm worried. Ethan is an only child. The other day, Mrs. Morrison next door was flaunting her grandchild's photo. It's so annoying. Before we got married, she would say such things and sigh deeply. It was because of my mother-in-law that I started worrying about not being able to have children. She would call me without telling my husband, pressing for grandchildren. I thought it wasn't uncommon to be a first-time mother after 30 these days. However, being strongly pressed by my mother-in-law, I started to feel rushed. So I talked to my husband, and we started infertility treatments. My husband was supportive, willing to undergo fertility tests with me. Since both of us had no issues, we thought we would have a child soon. However, despite the accumulating treatment costs, I couldn't get pregnant. Gradually, my husband began to vent his frustration about not having a child. Why can't you get pregnant? There's no problem, right? Just get it over with. You're taking off work to go to the hospital too much. Think about me working at the same place. What can I do? I want a baby soon too. It's hard for me to ask for time off. It's not just about you. Then quit your job. Stress isn't good, right? We can get by on my earnings alone. My husband must have reached his limit. Just quit tomorrow. Anyway, missing one clerk won't cause any trouble, and the gap will be filled quickly. Wait, just like that? All of a sudden? Let's do that. I'm going to bed now since it's early tomorrow. Good night. Saying this, my husband forcefully ended the conversation, and under his pressure, I quit my job. My dream of being an independent woman was cut short there. But I do want children. It's fine to return to work after having a child. For now, let's focus on trying to conceive. I reconsidered and tried to stay positive. However, my hopes were gradually crushed. Hey, since you're not working, at least take care of the house properly. We don't even have kids. I'm sorry, the hospital was so crowded today. I couldn't come back earlier and microwaved pasta. Are you kidding me? Even when you were working, you managed to cook something decent. I'm sorry, I was just too tired. Asterisk sigh asterisk. I'm the one who's tired, working from morning till evening, and this is what I come back to. Forget it, I'll eat out today. Gradually, my husband became harsher towards me. I felt it was verbal abuse, yet feeling inferior because I had quit my job and was being supported by him. And without any results from our fertility efforts, I couldn't say anything. I spent my days walking on eggshells around my husband, who complained about the housework. This behavior did not change even in front of his mother, who, instead of reprimanding him, joined him in pressuring for grandchildren. The stress was more than when I was working. However, my wish was granted, and a year later, I became pregnant. It was unexplained infertility, but I was so glad I didn't give up. On the day I found out about my pregnancy, I decided to buy flowers on my way back from the clinic. This will make him return to his kinder self. That's what I thought. But oh, that's great. Congratulations. His reaction was lukewarm. After all the talk about having children and quitting my job, I felt indignant. Still, I hoped things would change once the baby was born. Hey, clean up my study. And I don't need dinner today. I have a business trip coming up next week, so take care of the preparations. That's too much. I've been suffering from severe morning sickness and can't eat anything. Everyone goes through that, right? Normally, you'd be working, so you should at least be able to do that much. Leaving those words, my husband went off to work while I struggled with more morning sickness, trying to do as he said. During this time, I gave birth to our daughter, Nicole. The only thing that changed was that the calls from my mother-in-law for grandchildren stopped. However, she would still suddenly show up wanting to see her granddaughter. But as long as she cared for Nicole, I could bear it. But my husband's verbal abuse continued. While I was busy caring for Nicole, he would leave the household responsibilities to me and go out to drink freely. His late nights out and unauthorized overnight stays increased. You know you're being supported by me, so you should take care of the house and Nicole. Do you think you can live on your own with a child? Unable to even keep a job? No way. My husband would come home drunk and hurl such insults at me repeatedly. All I could do was care for Nicole and listen. Hearing his verbal abuse over and over, I started to believe I couldn't divorce him, thinking I wouldn't be able to raise my daughter on my own. However, as Nicole grew, I began to feel a sense of urgency. When my husband started to get angry as usual, Nicole said, "Mom," apologized quickly. She thought that would calm my husband's anger quickly, and she was right. When I apologized, he would click his tongue and leave the room. Seeing my daughter Nicole always being considerate of her irritable father broke my heart. I finally started to consider divorce. This situation isn't good for our daughter's upbringing. I decided to start working part-time in secret, thinking of saving money for after the divorce. But I didn't know what my husband, Ethan, would say if I told him I was starting a job. So I began working as a cashier at a supermarket during the mornings when Nicole was at school, making sure not to neglect the household chores to avoid complaints from my husband. Time passed, and Nicole reached the 6th grade of elementary school. I told her about the divorce plan before she started middle school. She seemed relieved. "I'm glad we can finally get away. I'm sorry for making it tough on you, but everything will be okay now. I've saved up enough money." Overwhelmed with emotion, Nicole and I hugged each other. "We'll be free soon." That's what I thought until one day. "Hey, tidy up my study." That day, Nicole was off school, and Ethan was supposed to be off work as well. However, I'm going on a business trip starting today. I won't be back for a week. He said this and left the house with a large suitcase. It was common for him to suddenly leave for business trips. Nicole and I watched him leave as usual and then started to tidy up his study. Why doesn't Dad clean up his room? It's too messy, really. He's made me do it for so long. He probably can't do it himself anymore. The worst, but we're getting divorced, right? We can get away. Just a bit more patience. Saying this, Nicole started picking up her father's clothes with a determined gesture. When I began tidying the desk and its surrounding papers, I noticed something unusual. The desk drawer, usually locked, was open. Oh, as I said this, Nicole came over to see what was up. "Ah, it's usually locked, but it's open." "Oh, just wait a moment." Before I could stop her, Nicole opened the drawer. "What, Mom, is this?" She became visibly disturbed immediately. I looked in as well, and there it was. A divorce application with a handwriting letter, clearly known by its unique quirks. When I picked it up, a photo slipped out. Dad, and who is this? It showed Ethan, a woman, and a boy about the same age as Nicole. On the back of the photo, along with a date, it read, "With my beloved." Realizing the implication, I quickly understood. Nicole, possibly grasping the situation, looked up at me anxiously. "Mom, does this mean Dad is cheating?" "It seems so. But this might actually be for the best." "What?" "Let's take this chance to clean the slate completely." I smiled at Nicole and gave her instructions to tidy up. After finishing the cleanup, we decided to leave our home, packing only the essentials and arranging for a moving company to handle the rest. We moved into a short-stay apartment while searching for a place to live permanently. That day, we submitted the divorce application to the city court. From that day on, Ethan felt like an ex-husband to me. I considered hiring a detective agency, but wanting to save money for the future, I decided to look for evidence of the affair myself. My ex-husband underestimated me as I found evidence quickly. A simple search of his name brought up his social media, documenting trips in daily life, but not with me as the partner. There were also many videos and photos left on his computer, perhaps to save space on his phone. It was undeniable proof of the affair. Based on this, I sought legal advice. Then, on the day my ex-husband was supposed to return from his business trip, I received a call. "Hello? What the hell is this? What do you mean there's nothing left in the house? What did you do?" "You told me to tidy up, so I did." "Stop joking and come back. Where are you?" "I won't be returning. I'm divorcing you." "What? Why?" "You have the nerve to ask. Cheating and starting another family, and you don't know why." "How did you find out?" "You've been pretending to be on business trips. I've seen everything on your social media and computer. I even found out about the other home you have, all thanks to her parents, right?" Ethan was clearly shocked to learn how much I knew. "You were careless. You didn't think I would do something like this, did you? You'll struggle without me. How will you manage financially? A woman like you can't survive on her own." "Maybe, but it's better than staying with an abusive husband like you. I'll be taking compensation and child support from you. Please communicate through my lawyer from now on. Goodbye." I hung up. My ex-husband tried calling several times, but I blocked him. Even my mother-in-law reached out. A good wife forgives her husband's affairs. Don't make such a fuss and come back home. Forgive an affair and abuse with a son about my daughter's age? I can't do that. I won't be in contact with you or let you see my daughter. That's ridiculous. Even if you divorce, she's still my daughter. You can't take her away. This is also what my daughter wants. She suffered because of her father and doesn't want to see you either. That's absurd. Goodbye. I continued to block calls from her, feeling relieved to be rid of unnecessary burdens. I found a modest apartment for our next home and moved our belongings there. Despite using a significant portion of my funds, I felt relieved about starting anew. After moving, I initiated claims for compensation against my ex-husband. Initially resistant, my ex-husband quickly signed the documents when I mentioned returning to my previous job, which is also his workplace. Please don't do that. It'll ruin my reputation. My previous workplace is also my ex-husband's workplace. He must have realized it was only a matter of time before it became known. He signed out of self-preservation, agreeing to a lump sum payment. Then, through the lawyer, the mistress requested to meet. It seems she's quite remorseful. She wants to apologize in person. Persuaded by the lawyer's words, I agreed to meet. I chose a cafe as the meeting place. The woman who appeared was well-dressed and beautiful. "Nice to meet you. My name is Tracy Brown. I sincerely apologize for the trouble I've caused." "Nice to meet you." An awkward silence filled the air. I had no intention of forgiving her, but I was curious about her side of the story. She began to speak slowly, revealing that she initially thought he was single. When she discovered she was pregnant, Ethan confessed he was married but promised a swift divorce. However, soon after her pregnancy came to light, he told her a divorce was no longer possible. Then her parents suggested she could still have a family with him. Able to cut ties with Ethan, she accepted her parents' proposal. In reality, we were not divorced, and the marriage registration we submitted was never processed. So, you've been with my husband for over 12 years? Yes. He had told me he divorced 10 years ago, but I continued the relationship for 3 years even after knowing about you. I am truly sorry. Now I've decided to end things with Ethan. I loved him, but I've realized I was just convenient for him. How so? The moment he knew you found out, he started treating me like a cash cow. My parents are quite generous with me, their only child, and he depended on that. Our life was largely supported by my parents, and his lies became unforgivable. I see. And this is the compensation from my parents. She handed me a white envelope. I silently accepted it. She apologized until the end and then left. Perhaps she too was fooled by a foolish man. Afterwards, my daughter and I started a new life. When I explained my situation to my part-time job, they offered me a full-time position. Nicole no longer had to tiptoe around an adult's mood at home and seemed to smile more. I too have begun to feel more at peace. What would you like for dinner tonight? I want an omelette. Great idea. All right, love you, Nicole. With ketchup then. All right, love you, Mom. We spent the evening laughing together, planning to live for each other's happiness moving forward.